Hey folks, Fernando doing another video for the Modern Survivalist, and yes, as the title says, talking about the Uvalde incident in which apparently, based on the latest news that we have, and this we keep on learning more, but apparently the police waited for 77 minutes before intervening as 19 children and 2 teachers were killed. The Uvalde police chief is being placed on leave amid outrage over his inaction. And before I go on with this video, a few things. First of all, I want to say this. I have some of the best people, some of the people that I trust the most over the years happen to be law enforcement, cops, and military folks that work in those lines of work. Some of the best people, of course, because of what I do, and the shooting, and usually in terms of preparedness, you come across a lot of these guys. Some of the best people happen to be cops, happen to be folks that are active duty military from different countries, because I move around quite a bit and I've met people from different countries. Some of the best folks I know happen to be military or police. Having said that, I also learned over the years that a uniform does not make a person, right? If you're wearing a police uniform or a military uniform, whatever badge or insignia or logo or whatever it is, personally, I couldn't give less of a damn, because I know that the person underneath may be whatever. You just don't know. You may have awful cops, you may have fantastic ones, you may have complete lunatics and losers and insane people, or great people wearing any kind of uniform. You just don't know. That's simply, it's not it's an opinion of mine, but it's an opinion based on a life of experience that taught me just that. Now, that's something that offends some people because, oh, Fernando, you're disrespecting. Yeah, I couldn't care less, Sure, you may have interesting things to say, and maybe it says a few things about you, but it doesn't say some of the more important aspects of what kind of person you really are, just because you wear a certain uniform, whatever it is that you are. If you're I'm SWAT, I'm special forces, this or that. Great, that's all fantastic. Another thing is that you usually don't see the fascination, the adoration that people have with the military and police in the United States and the rest of the world. I don't know of any case of stolen valor anywhere else. You guys have a certain fixation and adoration, especially usually it's on the more conservative right wing part of society that have this the thank you for your service, the immediately holding someone in higher esteem simply because they're cops, simply because they're military. That's not where I'm coming from, because that's not been my experience in life, and I haven't been influenced that way as I grew up. Maybe you guys have. And I also tell you something, personally from experience back in the day in Argentina. We had an alarm go off in the business from my wife's side. Alarm going off, call the cops. We show up to the it's like a factory. Open the door. The cops with us. No, we're not going in. Why? No, you have to go in. They would not go through that door. It had to be me and my brother-in-law that went in first, because the cops there did not want to go in. And this is something else you have to understand and recognize, that for some people this is just a job, and they will not risk their necks for you or anyone else. I've heard, this is what personally happened to me, and I've heard of so many cases of whenever something goes off, an alarm, a call, they wait for a while to see if they maybe miss whoever is there that could be a potential danger for them. That's something I've heard a lot as well. So you have some guys that will, rush to it directly. There's some people that will not do that. And as time goes by, as everything gets more damn woke, it becomes more and more of, it's just a job for me. Now, when these people don't fully appreciate it, it's like Spider-Man wisely said, that with great power comes great responsibility. It's not only just a job. Yeah, you're being paid, and sometimes you're not being paid all that great. But you have a certain power that the rest of people with other kind of jobs don't have. You have a power of being the figure of authority in our society, and you're the guy that is okay and allowed to walk around with a badge, but also a gun, open carrying it, and no one thinks twice about that. That's understood. You have that power, right? Because of that. So this idea that, well, it's just a job for me. Yeah, maybe it is for you. For some people, it's more of a calling. And I usually respect those people a lot more than those that take the job of being an officer, a cop, or a soldier as, well, it's just another job. I don't give a damn because of this. Because of this extra power that comes besides just being yet another job like any other job, which it is. But it also has this extra benefit and responsibility. Both things come along with it, right? You have that power, but also you should have a responsibility. And the responsibility aspect is this, that when things get dangerous, you signed up for that. You signed up for doing something that could be dangerous. You signed up for being you the one that goes through the door when the damn alarm goes off and not asking, the business owners to go in. Because you don't want to catch a bullet yourself. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I do, maybe I don't, but I'm not going to be risking. This is like a fireman saying, I'm not walking into that damn burning building. That's dangerous. You're a fucking fireman. Yes, that's what you're supposed to do. If not, don't sign up for it. The same thing happens here, but the more woke it gets, the more okay they are with this idea. Well, I have me. I have to look after myself first because, well, if I die, who's going to be? Well, don't be a fucking police officer if you don't want to risk it. Because, yeah, it's not maybe a day-to-day job, shooting it out with a lunatic in the school, but that could be a possibility. Right. Guys, before I go on with this, if you're interested in all of this and I'm talking about here and you want to prepare for this, quite a bit of what you saw there with active shooting and that sort of thing, a lot of that is covered in street survival skills. In my book, I have dedicated chapters to barricading doors, dedicated chapters to self-defense, using firearms, using bare hands, improvised tools, knives, security and practical survival and preparedness in street survival skills, and for the economic aspect, surviving the economic collapse based on, well, my experience in Argentina. It's probably going to be useful for everything that you're already seeing unfolding all around us. These two things, man, they are very much linked as you're learning each passing day. This thing of a degradation of our society, a loss of values as well. Yes, there's a lot of that here involved. What kind of person, really, what kind of man stands while little kids are being slaughtered? Not only what kind of police officer does that? I mean, you're all geared up. You have your body armor. You have your rifle. You have your shield apparently here, and you're surrounded by fellow officers that also have damn training for this. How could you not run into that building no matter what you're being told? As you know that there's children being slaughtered or anyone else being slaughtered. That is your job. Especially with a school, damn, you have to be fucking cold. I mean, I'm not talking about even being a coward. You have to be a complete piece of shit. To this being your job, you being somewhat trained, surrounded by fellow officers, you're more than ready for this kind of threat, and you do nothing, you're frying in damn hell if there's one. Anyway, let's see what they say in the news about this and comment a little bit more.
Overnight from Uvalde, Embattled Police Chief Pete Arredondo, who oversaw the response to the mass shooting that left 19 students and 2 teachers dead, has been placed on administrative leave. Maria Villarreal has the latest.
After weeks of mounting pressure in Uvalde, overnight the school district announcing Chief Pete Arredondo was placed on administrative leave, despite their initial intentions to wait until the investigation was complete before making any decisions.
He should never be allowed to work in law enforcement again, my personal opinion.
Superintendent Hal Harrell writing in part, because of the lack of clarity that remains and the unknown timing of when I will receive the results of the investigations, I have made the decision to place Chief Arredondo on administrative leave effective on this date. While anger here grows, some think the administrative leave from the school district doesn't go far enough.
Nothing will happen.
Arredondo to resign from city council.
Nothing will
His
change.
inaction and inability to own up to him being an incident commander. Yeah, he can't be my councilman. I want better representation than that.
Department of Public Safety Director Stephen McCraw saying as the incident commander during the mass shooting at Robb Elementary School last month, the chief had no radio to communicate with dispatchers.
That's the
adding
excuse?
Officers wasted time by not immediately entering the classroom where the gunman was opening fire.
Chief, what anything to say to the parents?
Arredondo recently told the Texas Tribune he felt he was in an impossible
Militarization of police. Look at the kind of vehicles they have. It's not a factor. It's not a matter of lack of equipment, of gear, of training. It's just a matter of I'm not going to be putting my life in the line for these assholes, for the rest of the community. That is the mentality. That's
situation and wanted to save as many lives as possible.
Overnight, we did try to reach out to Chief Arredondo and his attorney, but have yet to hear back. Today, here in Austin, there will be more testimony about gun safety and what happened in
gun safety. So not only are you realizing that the people that are supposed to look after your kids, your well-being, the well-being of the community, failed to do that completely. They were even arresting parents that were trying to rush into that school so as to save their kids. There were parents that had concealed carry guns that wanted to rush in. I think there was a woman that she was placed in handcuffs because she wanted to run into that building. This poor woman, and these assholes just arrested her and not go in themselves. But not only that, now they use their lack of courage, of minimum amount of decency, really. Because, yeah, of course it's dangerous, but, dude, this is your job. You're surrounded by fellow officers. You have freaking shields. What more can you possibly want? Of course there's an element of risk there, but standing still while you're slaughtering little children, it's not about being a coward. As I said, it goes beyond that. It's being a complete piece of crap. Even if you're being told, let's even say that a boss, the one that supposedly lost a radio, even if you're being told you'll get fired if you go into that building, how do you still stand outside? How can you even live with yourself? These people have no soul.
Uvalde, but just a reminder, unless the governor calls...
And they use this so as to now turn it against you by, we have to talk more about gun control because, yeah, that's the real problem here. The problem is not the complete lack of response by the police as children were being slaughtered. No, the problem is that we have to take away your guns to take away even that from you. Even the ability of defending yourself, while the police obviously shows that they're completely incapable of doing that for you. You're being stripped from the tools so as to protect yourself and your family. Guys, this is what you have right now. Several things. If you're not looking after yourself and your family, you're completely misguided. You know what's going on. It's never been that way, but you know what? It's even more serious now. It's getting worse and worse. Back in the day, cops would have run inside without a doubt, without a second of thought. Now it's about, I don't want to get shot. I don't want to get in trouble with the boss. I don't want to get in trouble with the union. I don't really care all that much about this damn community. So if they slaughter all these children, so be it. And yeah, this is just a job for me. You have more and more people that think, well, this is just a job. I'll just do the minimal government employee work kind of attitude to it. And that's what I sign up for. That's how you end up with this kind of cops in the job. And the more of this you have, the more you have to realize it's so important to learn to defend yourself. The kind of thing that I explain here, and the kind of thing that you definitely should take from qualified firearms instructors. That's always what I recommend. If you cannot take that, this book will give you some of the basics that I've learned over the years in different classes with different firearms instructors in different countries. They usually teach the same basic stuff, which is the stuff that works. That's what I explain there. Better get a qualified, reputable firearms instructor that has a good reputation in the community, not just any clown. Plenty of those around. But this is more important than ever now, and it keeps just getting worse. The way in which, at the same time, you're being stripped away from the right to own and defend yourself with a firearm. That's what they're going for, and this is just encompassing the rest of the of this mess that we're in right now. The economy aspect of this, how you're being robbed in your face, just like you're being robbed from the ability of defending your children. You're being robbed economically from your hard work through evil economic mechanisms that are designed specifically to strip you away from that and bleed you alive, impoverish you while they get rich themselves. The people that are responsible for these kind of macro decisions. A militarized police that is not, the more damn tanks they seem to have, the less useful these guys seem to be. The shield, was that too much to ask? Actually do this as soon as you could? No. Right, that was just too much to ask. Now they do get they do get the trucks. We need the armored vehicle because we need the armor. How are we going to be sitting outside waiting until the crazy guy gets over with? No, we're going to be waiting inside our armored vehicle. So the more militarized it becomes, the less about serving and protecting it obviously is. Guys, see you in the next video. Take care.